Hello guys, welcome back to TechDose, and in this video we will see the concept of hashing. We might be required to store a subset of keys or key value pair from the pool of elements for frequent searching, right? So the search operation will be our frequent operation after insertion. In this case I have already told you that we will be using hash map. So how do we actually use the hash map? Let's take an example. Let's say that we have total elements as 1000. Okay, so this is our pool of 1000 elements, and the maximum number of elements at any given time which we want to store in the hash map for fast searching is only 10, right? So what will be the size of our hash map? It will obviously be 10. Now if you are considering that we can make an array and it will also act as a hash map. So it will start from 0 and it can go to 999, and then we can use the index of this array as a key, and it can store the values of whatever value we want to store, right? We can even store the key values in the value part. So if you are considering this, then actually we only need fast searching for 10 elements, and so making an array of size 1000 will just be a waste of memory, right? So we are making array size which is 990 extra because we just need to store 10 elements, and that is why we will be using hash map. Therefore it will be very space efficient. Okay, now there is one problem. 1k elements needs to be mapped to only 10 slots. Okay, since we have hash map of only having 10 slots and we have 1000 elements in the pool, so we can just pick a random element from the pool and it should be able to uniquely go to a key, right? And it doesn't depend on how many times we calculate. Like if we are picking a number, let's say x, and if we are applying hash function on x, then let's say we get the key value as y, then even if we apply the same hash function to the same number later on, it should produce the same key, right? So that is the prime requirement of the hash function. Now once you pick a number x, then it should be able to map to a value which is the key value, and there we will store its value, right, as a key value pair, or you can even store only the keys. It depends all on the implementation as well as the requirement of the problem. Now how to know which element goes to what slot? So for that reason we will be using the hash function. So the hash function will take in input. So let's say this is the input x, which is an element from the pool. So hash function will be taking an input and it will apply the hash function to this input and produce an output which is y. So y will be denoting the key in the map. Okay, so this is how hash function can be used to map an element to the hash map. I hope you understood this concept. Now let us take an example and understand. Let's say that this pool here it is representing only 3 elements, but it can have elements in the range of 0 to 999, that is 1000 elements. So any element in the range of 0 to 999 can go to this hash function. So we can write h of 0 to 999. So if we apply hash function to any number in the range of 0 to 999, then it should produce an output which will be a number in the range of 0 to 9, because we are having a map which is of size only 10 and it will be indexed from 0 to 9. Okay, so I hope you understood how this hash function is actually giving the output and why it is only from 0 to 9. Now let us take an example and understand. Now let's assume that the hash function is just mod 10, which is a very simple hash function. Since we are just having 10 slots, we can use mod 10, right? And the pool are having elements which are only integer. Okay, so let's say we are required to insert 243. Now 243, if we give it to the hash function, then hash function will take in input 243 and apply its function which is mod 10, and the result will be equals to 3. So this will be our key. Now 243 can be stored at key 3, right? So 243 will go here. Again, if you want to insert 322, then 322 will be given to the hash function, and hash function is mod 10, so mod 10 will be applied. Output will be 2. So this 2 is the key where 322 can be stored. So 2 is the key and 322 will be stored here. Now in this case, what is the time? What is the time of insertion? Actually we are applying only the hash function and we are accessing that index on the map. So applying the hash function is just O1 time. and accessing any index of the map is also O1. Therefore, inserting an element into hash map is O1 in this case, right? Now after seeing insertion, let's see how search is working. And let's say you want to search element 243. Now 243 will be given to the hash function, which will apply mod 10 on this value 243. Result will be 3. So we will go to slot 3. Now we will check if the value part is containing 243. Yes, the value is containing 243. So we have found that 243 is present at index 3. This is also done in O1, right? Now what happens for deletion? We have seen insertion and search. What happens for deletion now? Let's say you want to delete element 322. Again, this 322 will be given to your hash function, which is mod 10. Key value will be 2 here, right? So we will go to index 2 and we will see that 322 is present here, and so we will just remove it. So deletion in this case is also done in O1 time. So each of these operations, insertion, search and deletion, is done in O1 time. So this seems quite smooth, quite simple and very easy to understand as well. So is there any problem? Can we encounter any problem in this case? Well, try to insert this element 443 now. Now if you try to insert this 443, again this will go to our hash function mod 10 and the key value will be 3. So we should be inserting this 443 at index 3. Now if you go to index 3, then it is already having value 243. Now since this slot is not free and you are trying to insert a different number, this 443 is not the same as this 243, they are different. You are inserting different number which is being mapped to the same key. So this situation is known as collision, because two different values, let's say x and y, x is given to hash function h of x, y is given to the hash function h of y, and both the outputs are given as something, let's say a. Both the outputs are same. So this is known as collision, right? So how do we solve this situation? How do we avoid this collision, or if there is collision, then how do we solve this? Let us see this in the next step. So some of the possible solutions for collision are, the first one is to use a better hash function. So what will this better hash function do? If we use a better hash function, then it will reduce the probability of collision for two different elements, right? So let's say there was element x, you had applied hash function on x and the output was a, and you had also applied hash function on y and the output was still a, and the probability of getting both these hash values as same for a different input value is, let's say, 50%. And now when you changed your hash function, initially it was, let's say, mod 10, right? And now let's say you have taken a different hash function which is h2, right? So h2 can be anything other than mod 10, and this is taking the same number x and this is taking the same number y, and it will give different outputs like a1 and a2. These two will be different, and the probability of a1 being equals to a2, that means the probability of collision is, let's say, only 5%. Then you can see that by using a better hash function, the probability of collision will reduce, but it will not get eliminated. Okay, collision might still happen, but the chances of collision will be reduced. So using a better hash function is not a complete solution for eliminating collision, right? Now the second technique is chaining. So in this case, we will use linked list to store the elements with the same key. Now let's assume that this is our map having just 4 slots 0 to 4, and our hash function is mod 10. Let's say we want to insert 23 into the map, then 23 mod 10 will be 3, so 23 will be inserted here, right? Again you want to insert 33 into the map, so it is having key 3. Key 3 is already having 23, so there is a collision, right? So what we can do is, if we are using chaining, then we can insert this 33 at this same key, considering that there was no collision at all. We will pretend that there was no collision. We are maintaining linked list at each and every key, so that whenever two keys collide, then we will just store it in the form of a linked list, right? So in this way we can resolve the state of collision. Now let's say again we want to insert 41. 41 mod 10 is 1, so 41 will be inserted here, and again you want to insert 101. So in this case 101 mod 10 will be 1, so this one is already having 41, so 101 can again be inserted here, right? So this is how we can resolve collision using chaining. Now in this case I have shown that you will be inserting new elements at the end, but probably inserting the elements at the beginning of the list will save you much more time. Okay. Now in worst case all the elements might go to the same key, and so we will just be forming a single linked list, right? So what might happen is, let's say this third element was 43 and the fourth element was 103. Now the key in this case would have been 3, and again the key in this case would have been 3. So 43 could have been inserted at this position, and 103 also could have been inserted at this position, and these two would not have been present. So all the 4 elements got inserted at the same key in the form of a single linked list. And now when you want to, let's say, search for 103, you will be mapping to this key 3, and again you will be performing a linear search on this single linked list. So that is why your search on the map can go to order of n in worst case in this scenario, right? So how do we actually get over it? How do we actually avoid this situation? We should be using better hash function, which will avoid collision with maximum probability, right? So that all the keys will be spread over evenly. All the keys will be spread over evenly throughout the map, so that we don't get irregularity in the length of the linked list. All the linked lists are having some average size, right? So in that case, even if we are making a linear search on any of the key, it will not be too large, right? So that is the concept here. I will be explaining this chaining topic in my future videos, so there you will get the complete understanding. Now the third technique is by using open addressing. In case of collision, we can make minor modifications to the hash function input and recompute the hash value. So in case if new slot 2 is occupied, then keep recomputing unless we find a free slot. So how is it actually working? Let's take a map, and in this case the map size is 10 from 0 to 9, and the green marked slots are actually filled, right? So slot 1, slot 3, 4 and 5 and this 8 as well, all are filled. All the other spaces are left. Let's say we want to insert this 101, key 101. So this element 101 is given to our hash function, which is mod 10, and the key value is 1. So we will go to key 1 and see if it is empty. Now key 1 is not empty, it is filled, right? So we cannot insert this element 101 at key 1. Now what we will do is, in this technique, we will do some minor modifications to the input which we had given to this hash function mod 10, and then we will again recompute the hash value. So again, let's say after recomputation, the value which we got is 5. So from 1 we will jump to this index 5. Now 5 is also filled, it is occupied. So now we will again repeat the process. We will again recompute with some modifications, and let's say after recomputation we get a new hash value which is 0. So from this index 5 we will move to index 0. So index 0 is not occupied, and so 101 will be inserted at this key 0, right? So this is the concept. Now in this case you should already be knowing what is the maximum number of elements which can go into your map. Otherwise, if the maximum number of elements exceed the size of map, then you might be required to extend the size of your table, right? Because if you don't extend it, then it will fall into an infinite loop. It will keep recomputing. Okay, so this should be considered in this case. I will also be explaining open addressing in detail in my future videos. Now in open addressing, in worst case, for inserting let's say nth element, we might be searching n-1 slots which are all full. Okay, and we will be inserting this nth element at the very end, right? So when we keep recomputing, all the slots are filled except a single slot which we will hit at the nth recomputation, right? So when we do that, then actually for inserting an element, we are doing this hashing operation n times, and so the time complexity can go to order of n in this case as well. It is same as chaining, where we had stored all the elements in a single linked list, right? In this case of open addressing, once we get an occupied slot, then we can probe for the free slot. Some of the well-known probing techniques are linear probing, quadratic probing, as well as double hashing. So I will be explaining all these in detail in my future videos. So this was all about the concept of hashing, and I hope you were able to understand it. If you have any doubt, then please feel free to comment below and I'll try to help you as soon as possible. If you love our work, then please try to donate so that I can make quality free content for everyone. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.